I'm not about to worry about that. So we have YouTube and we have fan base. And welcome into Mindful Moments, where we're going to discuss strategies, useful strategies for self care, and in light of what went down yesterday. And if you don't know, it's probably good because people, and I'm not laughing at the people. I'm not laughing at the people, which is why I wanted to take a reroute on this live today. We are going to still discuss some Pilates and the commonly asked questions that we get in the Pilates community. But I wanted to take a pause and a reroute, basically, to just discuss what happens when you are in a crisis. What happens when things don't turn out the way that you expected them to turn out, or they just take a sudden turn. And they take a sudden turn and the rug is pulled from underneath you. What's your plan? So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what would be your plan in that particular situation. Now, yesterday, if you don't know, or last night, it wasn't even 12 hours ago, was it? I don't think it was 12 hours ago. But last night, they pulled the plug on the big app, on the clock app, on the other app, and people were in a frenzy. Like, people were, having like complete meltdowns, or as Gen Alpha, Gen Z say, crash outs. Like, they were having complete emotional breakdowns regarding what was going on. Now, there were a lot of things at play there. One, you have people who have built communities over there, so they actually feel like family. So a lot of times we have family dynamics or family situations that are not necessarily ideal. So everyone, at least in our community, like everyone that's your family is not necessarily a blood relative. So people have actually built these big communities, or solid, not even big, but just these solid communities of support on that particular app. And then when that plug was pulled, it just sent them like almost overboard. I'm hoping that no one actually injured themselves as a result of it. So that was one thing that was at play. So that community was lost. Income was lost. Some people do it as part-time. Some people, it is their full-time pay. Like, they have actually left their full-time employment to utilize that app because of whatever it was that they were, the content that they were putting out was good enough for them to be able to sustain themselves, or even do better. You had some people who did better, who had all out like full degrees and advanced degrees, and who did not even use them, and their content on that particular app was able to sustain them. So they left their full-time employment, and then the plug was pulled from underneath them. That was another thing. You have some people who are isolated, whether it's because of social anxiety, or it's some people who are physically isolated. You have people who are in facilities, who are not able to get out. You have people who have physical, ailments that keep them confined to a certain space. And like you have, say for instance, a caregiver. The caregiver may be physically okay to get up and around, but they may be taking care of a relative or a friend or a patient or whatever, because that can be their full-time job, where the person that they're taking care of cannot be left alone. And so then that caregiver becomes isolated. That would be their outlet. That would be their way to communicate with people outside of that individual that they're taking care of. So there were a lot of dynamics going on. And so I can see how that could get people twisted, get people turned around, throw people in a tailspin, and how it can play on a person's psyche, because it's the real world, but it's the real world virtually. And so those connections and those reaches went way further than just the front door, or within their homes, or just within their family. So I see it. I see how it can impact their heart. What I want to talk about is what happens when you do have such close ties, or you have ingrained yourself so much into something like that. And right now we are talking about social media. So again, we will get back to the Pilates talk, but I think this is really important to be able to step back and to take a look at what happened. People were like, well, what are we going to do and where are we going to go? I mean, there was a big drove that went over to another app where the language, they didn't understand not one word. Yeah, you may be learning something else, but a lot of people sign something, not physically, because I don't even think people be signing stuff no more. But anyway, that's another story. But you clicked agree to something in a language that you didn't understand. And what you may not know is you gave them access to your whole life. You gave them access to your whole life on that one little device. So people, went there by the millions, I'm guessing. I don't know. I didn't do a survey and I don't know the numbers. But anyway, I can just guess. Let's just say it was a whole bunch of thousands. I know at least that much. A bunch of people went over, to learn something else, but then may have ended up in a space. Yes, it's welcoming in the beginning because it's new, it's exciting. But then you have the people who are currently there thinking like, wait a minute. So if they do a certain thing from where they're from, do they think they're going to bring this over here? Now, I don't know. I didn't go over there. I can only speak of what I have seen passed around. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But my understanding was now that particular app has been separated to an American version and an Asian version. I don't know. If you know, let me know. Put it in the chat. So now you still not in that community, right? So whatever. I mean, the way I'm looking at it is people still had that desire to have a connection, to have some form of connection. So flipping that switch, pulling that plug really seemed like the rug got pulled completely from underneath them. Like it's, like what am I going to do with my life now? Because this has become my life. Another part that I want to talk about is just so many items to unpack here when it comes to that. And you may be looking at like, well, it's just, social media. And that's some people. Some people are like detached from social media enough that, okay, if I have it, I have it. And if I don't, I don't. But then there's some people like, nope, this is my life. I eat it, sleep it, breathe it. And those are the people that I'm really want to talk to. If you're here, to offer or lending, if you want to lend your ear, you want to offer some support, I appreciate that. But I especially want to talk to those people who got caught up, who got thrown off of their square, who did not know what to do, like literally out there like Bambi, like not able to stand up straight, like not understanding, literally getting sick. Like I saw several people. It wasn't just one person, but several people because I was in and out. I was really trying to make it rain because I had bought some coins and I didn't know if they were going away. So I was trying to make sure I support those content creators who I have learned from. So I was trying to hop in and out of different people's lives so I can make sure that I spend that money. But anyway, but for those people who have made that particular app, their lives, I want you to think about like really what your life could be. This is less than 12 hours that, it had happened. The moment that it happened. Oh, yes. So look, the moment that it happened, you didn't know where you were going. So now would be a good time to take an opportunity to step back and say, if all of that happened to me with that one flick of the switch, it could have just been something that was just a glitch. Well, I mean, we knew it was coming and the warning and all that came, but I'm just saying it could have just been a glitch. But if all of that happened to me as a result of a switch being flicked in the hands of someone else, so that means that my fate, my life, all of that is in the hands of someone else. And I relinquished control. I relinquished who I am to somebody else that's outside of me. And guess what I did at the same time? Showed my entire hand. Now I'm not a card player, but I come from a card playing family. My family be so serious, that's why I ain't a card player. I'm just saying. I would sit at the table with the kids and teach them some character playing. Uno, yeah. Draw 4, reverse. Yeah. But I know, even in Uno, I know don't let them little kids see my hand. Don't let them see my colors. But people showed their entire hand. So now the ones who flipped the switch have the opportunity to do that again if they decide to do that again, because now they have seen. That feeds into how people get controlled and that groupthink. And if you don't know what groupthink is, get on the Googles. Think cultish behavior. Groupthink is what it's called. But groupthink, look it up. It's a very interesting phenomenon where you have a group of people who believe the same thing enough or strongly enough that it is true. It is their reality, and it's not really a way for you to easily pull them away from it. Eventually they'll come out of it. So if you hear people who have been involved in, different groups of people who have that groupthink, when they come out, they'll, explain what they felt and what their experiences were while they were, ingrained in that particular culture. So that's what it looked like to me. Like this was a whole groupthink process that happened, and the group went crazy. Can I use that word? Ooh, y'all don't censor me. But anyway, but the group got so impacted by that. They got so thrown off kilter by that. So as an individual, let's step outside of the group. So now I want you to think as an individual, what can I do differently? And I'm not saying that anybody was wrong. If that was you and that's how you felt and that happened, that was you. would take a moment to step back and say, if something like this were to happen again, what would I do? So you've experienced a few hours of it, but if it went on a little bit longer than that, and then I got my theories, you call me conspiracy theorist if you wanna, I'm gonna take it. I'll take it. But I have my theories that was a test. That was a test to see how much more we can do or what else we can do, because we know if we dangle this one, they're gonna lose it. To me, that's just my opinion. I ain't talked to nobody in no administrations and no higher offices, none of that. That's just the way that I think. I watch a lot of stuff, that works with the psychology or the psyche of, the human brain. And to me, that's just what it looks like. It looks like it's a setup. It looks like that was the test. And I must say, America, you didn't do very well. You didn't do very well on that test. I'm just saying, I'm being honest. You didn't do very well on that test because you let the powers that be know how to shake you and know how to make you just lose it, because that was what, I saw. The other part to that if that app was your primary source of income, now would be the time to start a financial strategy. Because I understand some people are doing big things, paying off tuitions and getting out of debt and paying off cars and putting kids through college. Like, that's a lot of money. Get your bag. Make sure you get your bag. Keep your bag, secure your bag. But at the same time, don't put all of what you have. Well, I can't say that because I can't tell you what to do with your money, with your coinage. I can't tell you that. But what I am suggesting is that you look at what you were doing with what you were earning. How about that? We listen and we don't judge. So look at what you were earning and what you were spending, and see if there are some areas that you can close up. There are some gaps that you can fill, so that if that happens again, you're like, okay, I'm good. I'm okay, pull the plug. I'm straight. There's a way to do everything, and there actually more than one way to do everything. There's a way that you can make sure that you're secure enough that if that did happen, you at least won't be thrown so far off kilter that you can't think straight, that you're not able to regain your balance, so that you can think, so that you can breathe. That's what I mean. So make sure you start to make a plan. If you didn't have one before, you can start right now. There's nothing wrong with that. You can start right now making that plan to see your exit strategy, so to speak. If this happened and I had to go somewhere else, if that was the sole source and the only source, and if you were that successful, and especially when it comes to social media, because we know content creators are the next rising millionaires, right? So we have Gen Z and Gen Alpha that's coming up, right? So some of them may never know what it looks like inside of an office, or never know what it looks like to work for someone else. So and they may be millionaires by the time they're 10 to 12 years old. So what you want to do is to be able to take what you have and not concentrate it. We call it, old schoolers call it, putting all your eggs in one basket and not having it concentrated so much. If you had that kind of success, that means that people liked your content. People like what it was that you were doing. Test it out somewhere else. And don't get I can't tell you what to do, so I won't say don't get so caught up, but pay attention. Be mindful of how much energy you give to one source. Whatever you feed is going to grow. What you don't feed is not going to grow. And I understand, I don't want to go over there because that don't look like this over here. It's not supposed to. It's not supposed to. The world would be real bland if everybody was doing the exact same thing. So that's not what I'm saying at all. But you want to test some other waters. So if you used to being in the shallow waters, go and test the deep. Sometimes you may have to work a little bit harder to get back to where you are, or where you were on the first platform, or you may not get there, but at least you can navigate, you can survive, and in some cases even thrive somewhere else. So I want you to, start to take a look at that. What would I do in that situation? Like, what would I do? Not what would Jesus do? What would you do if that plug is pulled from you again? Because mentally, that took some people to a whole different space, and we just don't want to get ourselves in a space where we're giving someone that much control. We already see what's happening. We're in the U.S., by the way, so if you're just coming in, if you're coming in from another country, chime in the chat, let me know where you're coming in from. But we're in the U.S., and for the most part, if you just step back and watch what's happening, it's where I was in that space. Let me just say this. Commercial break, I guess. I'm looking like, are people really this thrown off that they don't see what this is? That was really my thought. Like, are people that thrown off and that emotionally invested in this, that they don't see this as a game, that this is a trick. It's like it was a test. So am I judging? I don't know. If you feel that it's judgmental, yeah, you can type it in there, let me know. But I wasn't judging. I was just stepping back, looking. I'm looking at, and then it was like the puppeteers, if I can use that word, weren't even trying to hide. They weren't trying to hide. They were doing it in plain sight. But I guess that is one of the things you do. If you want to be slick with your stuff, you do the damage in plain sight. Like it's like you're hiding in plain sight. At least that's what I saw. And I stepped back and looked at it like the reality. Let's just go there. Or as they say, kick the ballistics, right? And then what Nino Brown said when he was in court, let's kick the ballistics. The reality of the number of billions of dollars that was generated on that app. And living in this particular country where we are, again, we're in America, the capitalistic society that we're in, I just don't see them leaving all that money on the table. I just don't. I don't. So I didn't see that it was going to go away forever. That's just me. I'm just one person. Again, if you say I'm a conspiracy theorist, all right, I'm going to take it. I'm going to accept that. But that's just how I was looking at it. But then when I saw the crash and burn, if you will, of so many creators, and I didn't go to everybody's face and I didn't go in everybody's FYP, but I saw enough. And even when I was scrolling through, I saw enough like, oh my God, like these people are really falling apart as a result of, first of all, it was the threat. So the anxiety was built from the threat throughout, this is going to happen at this time. And so some people weren't even able to, to function, fully function in a given day because of the threat of it happening. And then when it actually happened, because I was actually, in, somebody's live and it was happening, started glitching first. And then people started getting these messages popping up and you can just feel the anxiety, in the air rising because of what was happening. You want to be in a position where, I don't know how many believers, we have it, but, it's that this whole concept of you want to be the lender and not the borrower. Even if you don't feel like you have the most, you want to have the attitude of the lender, that you're going to be okay. And a part of the way that you can be okay as the lender and not the borrower, because the borrower is at the mercy of the lender. So again, it's not about the number of dollars or the number of things that you may have as the lender. The attitude that you have is, I done put enough to the side for myself. I have saved enough for myself that I'm able to take care of myself. Now, I may not be able to take care of everybody. And that's okay. You're not designed to take care of everybody. You take care of few people, right? Few people, not everybody. But if you have pulled enough to the side to take care of yourself, you're going to be okay. That's what I mean. Have a lender's mindset that I'm going to be okay. Even if it's a little pinch, even if I can't go through that drive-through and order the binky, dainty, pump, two sides, whatever. If I'm not able to do that, okay, I got something at home. Let me go home and make that right. So that's what I mean. Put yourself in a position to where you're going to come out winning. You're going to come out winning. Sometimes you're going to win by a long stretch. Sometimes you're going to win by a hair. But you still come out winning because you have not put yourself at the mercy of someone else to decide that, okay, today I just don't feel like you should be making a living. So how about I just shut this all down? And then you're sitting there like, what? Like, huh? So how am I supposed to make a living? That's what I mean. Make sure you get yourself, in that space. So what kind of self-care strategies could you use? Not what you could have used, because that has passed. Like all that has happened. I hope you're, better today, whoever was impacted by it, because that was not, it was not a good thing to witness. So I'm pretty sure it was not a good thing, to feel. But what strategies could you use to maintain some semblance of composure in a situation like that? What would you do? If you have a strategy, type it in the chat, make a comment. If you have a strategy, how well does that work for you? If you've used it before, how well does it work for you? Right? So, because that one for some people was the worst, like the worst thing that could have happened to them. If your strategy that you would typically use, some people, I'm not going to say this, but some people like the words, but some people indulge in certain things, and that kind of helps them through, right? But then when they come back, when that has worn off, the issue is still there, or the issue may have even gotten worse because you were not in a sober state of mind in order to deal with it. So it didn't go away. You just got a chance to get a break, for a few hours or a few days. Some people go on binges for a few days. Is that really an effective strategy? You want a strategy that you're able to go to when you don't have anything else. Because I do know some people felt like they didn't have anything else or any other way that they could deal with that. How about breathing? Breathing is something that you have with you all the time. As long as you're living, I mean, even if it's assisted breathing, if you end up on a machine, you still have breath. So when you have breath, that's one way that you can learn. You can learn how to balance your mind. You can learn how to balance your body by breathing. That is controlled breathing. There are a lot of different ways you can do it. I'm not going to tell you one way to do it. One of my favorites at this point, well, not one, the favorite that I like at this point is box breathing. Box breathing is where you're inhaling for 4 counts. You'll hold your breath for 4 counts. Exhale for 4 counts. Hold your breath for 4 counts. And so you're making a box. You're making a box with those 4 counts. Now for me, it's just even. It's just easier. There are some other ones like the 2-7-8, and then it's something with the switching, of the nostrils and all that. So for me, the 4, 4, and 4. That's actually what works for me. And so that's what, I use. What that box breathing can do, well, not box breathing, let me take it out, but control breathing. What control breathing does is it allows you to tap into your mind. It allows you to tap into that space, that still space in your mind where you're able to focus. You're able to be mindful of whatever it is that's going on around you, but not get distracted by what's going on around you because you're focusing in on your breath. So you're able to center that, right? So it can be all kind of chaos. Like, what's the saying? It's like a it's when the bird, if you there's like this picture, I don't know what to call it, but there's a saying where when you see this bird in a tree and there's a storm going all around, right? And it's talking about peace, having peace of mind, or having peace in a storm, right? It doesn't mean you don't see the storm. It doesn't mean you're not impacted by the storm, but your mind is at ease enough that you're able to find some kind of peace in that situation. So that's what I mean, when it comes to that controlled breathing. It makes you focus on the actual breath. If you're keeping up with numbers, if you're keeping up with the pace, it makes you focus on that so that you can calm yourself down. You're calming your mind, you're clearing your mind, you're calming your body so that you can think a little better to start to put those pieces together so that you can navigate your way out of that space. So that's one way, if you have an opportunity where you can actually rest. I use the word rest because rest is the root of restoration, but it's also meditation, right? Some people get a little, I don't know, I'm not gonna be meditating and calling from God. I said, I don't know. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not, and some people do that. That's, how you meditate. If you use meditation as your spiritual practice and it's working for you, continue to use the meditation as your spiritual practice. But I like to use the word rest because more people can identify with that. Like, can you actually rest? Can you rest your mind? Can you rest your body? That is a very, very useful self-care strategy when you are not able to do anything else. Because if you're stressed out, so think of this, if you're stressed out and exhausted, that's a double whammy. Like, that's really difficult to pull from that. It's really difficult to be able to think clearly because, your mind is just cloudy. Rest allows your brain to regenerate some functioning. It allows your heart to slow down for a while, right? It allows your blood to circulate a little better. If you're able to lie down to rest, that's even better because then you get your circulatory system, involved in that as well. So rest is another useful strategy. Rest doesn't mean 8 hours, 10 hours. Not everybody needs 8 hours of rest, right? Each body operates differently from the other. Some people need more, some people need less, depending on where you are and what stage of life that you're in. But rest is definitely a useful strategy. So we have our breathing is a useful strategy. We have rest, that is a useful strategy. Another is a distraction, a healthy distraction. Again, I made reference to some people using substances. No, we listen and we don't judge. I'm not judging you if that's where you are, but what I want you to look at, if that's what you use in order for you to cope with whatever's going on, pay more attention to what happens when you're no longer under the influence of those substances. That's all. Like you look at that. Hey, if things worked out better for you, hey man, it may be your route. I don't know. We listen and we don't judge. But if things are worse or haven't changed, that may not be the healthiest route for you to take, if it's substance related. So that's what you want to do. So whatever strategy that you are utilizing in order to deal with the crisis or the tragedy or whatever is going on, will it help you to maintain some kind of balance mentally, physically, spiritually, right? You want to be able to walk through. I'm going to say walk through. Not, it may not be easy, but to be able to walk through at least putting one foot in front of the other, even if it's only a centimeter at a time. So you still are moving forward in the process. Like if you got caught up in some quicksand and you're able to at least get a little bit, it could be a centimeter, at a time, which is perfectly okay, as long as you're moving forward and you're working your way through that particular situation. Again, relinquishing all of your power or most of your power to the mercy of someone else is a dangerous space to be in. And we do as individuals, I mean, as long as our mental capacities are functioning well enough, we do have the power. We do have the power to take control over our lives. We do have the responsibility for our own wellness. Now, I didn't say your own sickness, because again, call me a conspiracy theorist or nothing, but we live in America, and we know America, big pharma, that's big bang Hank right there. That's what America is. So we gon' the people, you go see some people and you talk to them, they're gonna write you out some stuff and you gonna go get some stuff in them little brown bottles. I'm just saying, that's just how we operate, in America. It's like, are you encouraged when you go to your medical professional to go, ground, go take your shoes off and go walk in the grass? I don't know. I haven't seen every medical professional, but from the people who my clients, like people who I've been dealing with through the years, they don't be coming back with that kind of stuff. They come back like, Coach Robin, my medical professional wrote me this prescription and I don't want to take it. I mean, that's what I've been experiencing through the years. So I'm just saying. So you want to make sure that you have something that's going to be healthier for you in order to deal with whatever that stressful situation is, that tragedy, that crisis. That's what you want to do. So the distraction sometimes is reading, and it could be physically reading a book. I'm still a page turner. I like the pages. There's something about, that I connect with the whole experience when it comes to reading books. If audiobooks are your thing, audiobooks. If ebooks are your thing, ebooks. It allows your mind to focus on something else if you can take it away. If you can take your mind or take your focus away from whatever the tragedy or the crisis is that you're dealing with, then that's what you can do. That's another, get a healthy distraction. Now, let's get to the food, because we know sometimes food is the distraction that people use. Now, it's twofold. Now, not everybody overeats, because some people don't eat. So that's another area. So let's talk about the overeating first. Overeating in a stressful situation puts your digestive system behind the eight ball, basically. The digestive system already has to work hard enough to process the food that you're eating, just the regular food that you're eating. But if you're eating under stress, your digestive system is stressed. So the digestive system has to work a lot harder in order to process what it is that you're eating, which means it's not going to go where it should be going in the amount of time that it should be getting there, if that makes sense. I'm hoping that that's making sense. So if your digestive system, if you're stressed, your digestive system is stressed too. So that whole stress eating, and that's when you see people who kind of get a little bit bigger, depending on what's going on in their lives, what it is they're dealing with, if they decided to choose food. And the reason why I said we're going to deal with the overeating first, because some people think if I'm eating healthy food, then it's okay. But you can overeat on that as well, because it still contains calories. So if you come into a calorie surplus and you're not expending more, so you don't create a calorie deficit, yes, you can gain weight from eating healthy food. So, I don't want you to get that part twisted, that because it's healthy, you can continue to snack on it. Even when you're talking about your food, pay attention, be mindful to how you're eating your food, right? How you're eating your food. Are you eating in portions, or are you eating straight from containers? Because that makes a big difference, because we can lose count like real quick. Because if you look on the back, of some tortilla chips, right? You trying to eat your tortilla chips, they talking about 13 chips is a serving. What'd you say? Yes. Hey, Sonia, how are you? But yeah, so also pay attention to how you eating your food. So are you eating it straight from a container, or are you actually setting aside the portions? And again, if you're under stress, your digestive system is under stress too. So be mindful of that. Pay attention to how you're eating. Also be mindful of where you're eating. Are you eating while you're lying down, right? Your digestive system is trying to rest, and you disturbing it by overeating. So you don't want to do that as well. Well, I can say you don't want to do it, but that's just putting yourself in a more stressful situation. And again, with each one of these strategies that we're talking about, think about what happens, or if you have tried it, or you can try it. You can plug it into a tragedy or a crisis that may come into your life. But if you already have a means that you use or that you go to, one way you can tell if it's working is what happened to the situation when you implemented that strategy. If it didn't work out to where there may be some reconsideration, to let's try something else. And again, empower yourself with enough that what happened last night, in America doesn't throw you off. If it happened to you, I mean, I hate that it happened, the way that it happened to some people, because some people were really, really spinning, and you just don't want to put yourself behind the 8 ball like that. So this is an opportunity for you to step back, for you to breathe, for you to think clearly, and for you to make a plan. Again, call me a conspiracy theorist. I think it was a test to see how many more games we can play with these people. That's just me. I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong, but I'm going to stand 10 toes down on that. I think it was a test to see. Let's see what happens when we do this again, right? The puppet master going to come back and let's pull the plug again. So prepare yourself. That's just me. You can take it as a warning if you want to take it as a warning, but that's just truly what I believe. But you want to make sure that you have some useful self-care strategy that's going to help you to navigate that situation. And not just that particular situation, it's just that impacted so many people. That's why I wanted to talk about that today. It impacted so many people, and it just made me think about, when tragedies strike. Now, there are some things that you totally cannot control. Your body, your adrenaline is going to go up, your body's going to go into shock, like all of those things. I'm talking about in situations where you're able to at least take a breath and at least step back to say, how can I get my mind right? How can I get my mind right so that I can move forward again, even if it's only centimeters, move forward in centimeters, and not get stuck in the whole fight, flight, freeze zone. Sometimes that's all you can do. Sometimes that's all you can do. If you go back to that box breathing, well, I like box breathing, but the controlled breathing that I was talking about, sometimes you just have to tap in from there. Like you're frozen. Like you just, if you're like, okay, now what do I do? What do I do? Breathing. If you can get that breath under control, it starts to help you. It does help with your circulatory system as well, but it starts to help you be able to think a little bit clearly so that you can start making those plans to move forward. Again, I'm old school, so we say put all your eggs in one basket. Well, do they still sell whole dozens? I don't know. I haven't bought eggs in a while, but I heard they like $8. I don't know. But still, with them eggs, like you don't want to put all those eggs in the same basket. You want to, as they say, diversify. You want to diversify. If you're a talent, especially if you're a content creator, and your talent and your gift has made room for you in these social media spaces, now that you see, if that one app was your only means for you to be able to support yourself or to support your family, you might want to start testing out some other stuff. Test out some other stuff and to see how well you'll do in those spaces while you have the cushion. So this didn't even happen more than 12 hours ago, and some people might be in the ER. I don't know. I hope they're not, but some people blood pressure probably went up so high because they just didn't know, what to do. Live that good life. Secure your bag. Definitely, I'm not discouraging anybody from doing that, but just be a little bit more mindful, right? Make those moves, be strategic in the things that you do so that you don't end up in that space again where you're just at the mercy of whoever decides to play a game with you. Playing a game, with your money. That's just not, it's like, what's that big worm? Don't play with my money. Playing with my money is like playing with my emotions, Smokey, right? You don't want somebody to start playing with your money and then playing with your emotions, and then it gets you into another space where some things can end up worse off than where they were in the beginning. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we are, no matter what, we're taking time. That's why I wanted to set aside these Sundays. So this is not the only Sunday. So we're going to do these, not talk about that app every Sunday. I just took a pause in us talking about self-care strategies, useful self-care strategies, and Pilates, because I saw what happened. I just wanted to hold this space for whoever needed it to come in, and to discuss that. But you want to be able to take time to take care of you, even if taking time to take care of you took 5 minutes. So if you have 24 hours in a day and you don't have 5 minutes for you, some serious reevaluation needs to happen. Like if you're that busy with whatever it is, whether it's your job, your 2 jobs, your 3 jobs, because folks got to work 4 or 5 jobs now trying to live over here in America. I'm just saying. But if all those jobs, like even in between, is there a closet you can go in, and just pause and take a break, just relaxing your brain, right? Relaxing your brain, relaxing your body. To always take time to take care of you. Some days you may have an entire hour. Some days you may only have 5 minutes, which is okay, but you create a synergy. The catchphrase is, a well-balanced life, right? That's just what we know, a well-balanced life. But is life ever really well-balanced? I don't know. But at least you can create some form of synergy that the scales are not always tipped, to far on one side or far on the other side. That's the position that we want to be in when it comes down to our self-care. Make sure those strategies are useful and that they're practical. Another useful strategy, bath. I'm a bath person. So some people like showers. I'm a bath person. But a nice hot bath, why would women do that? I don't know. I should do a survey with women like, why do you have your water so hot? The water where the steam and the smoke is coming up. Yeah. So for me, get my essential oils, put it in my diffuser. That's for me. That's an escape for me. I can do that for hours. I can be in the tub. Yeah, I can relax. That's a useful self-care strategy for me. That's not for everybody. If it's for you, then utilize that. Think about the times because there were times with some of us that we did that on a regular basis, and then life started life in, whether it was, going back to school, having more children or having grandchildren, and then the children are back in school, or your adult children had to move home and they brought the kids with them, and now you're like, well, I'm trying to get in the tub. Like, I ain't able to get, somebody talking about Nana, Granny, Abuelita, Abuelita, they calling your name, and you can't, get back into that space. So if you were able to do that before and that made you feel good, reminisce on those things that you did before and see if you can plug them into where you are. Now, there are some things that you used to do, like maybe perhaps dropping it like it's hot. It ain't hot no more. I'm just saying, it might be a little bit warm. It may be a little bit warm, so you're not able to drop it like it's hot, because that could have been one of your, self-care strategies where you just went out and danced. Like I'm in the Midwest, Chicago, full of house heads, right? So if you don't know about house music, just Google it. It's too much. Just Google Chicago house music, and then you'll understand, right? Or if you was in Chicago, we got the footworkers. So if you was the footworkers are millennials now, I believe. Yeah, footworkers are, so Chicago footwork. So you got house, you got footwork, and you got stepping, right? I'm from the stepping community. But if that was what you did for a release, drop it like it's warm. Like, it may not be that hot, but if that brought you that joy, and if it brought you some form of relief from what was going on in your life, and we didn't identify it as self-care then, but all of those things work as useful self-care strategies in order for you to be able to escape for real, like escape even for minutes from what we got going on now, because Earth is like extra ghetto to me. Like, it's the whole Earth. It's just Earth. It's just so much going on down here. It gets you spinning sometimes. In the morning, if you get up, if you watch the news, I don't start my day with the news either, because the headlines come right in. They come in with a bang, and it's just tragedy, and I'll wait them 15 minutes if I decide, but I haven't watched the news in a while. But if I decide, I'm waiting them 15 minutes so I can come in and see what the weather person is talking about. It's not that I don't care about people, but it's a lot to take in as soon as you get up in the morning to hear tragedy, and to try and go out and to be in a positive space to get your day going. That's all I'm saying. So if you had some self-care strategies that were working, bring those back up to the forefront. If you can message me, you can put it down in the chat, you can comment on this if you're watching this as a replay about different self-care strategies. I'll share with you those things that I know that work for me. They may not work for everybody else, but I'll share them. If that's some stuff that you would want to try, I'll actually share those. But what I do know is that no matter what, when it comes down to it, the ultimate responsibility for our wellness belongs to us. It belongs to us. No matter what else is going on, it belongs to us. And we just don't want to be in a position where we relinquish our wellness to someone else who might want to come and play a game with us. That just ain't good. That's not a good space to be in at all. You don't want to relinquish the power to be well. And yes, the mind over matter thing is scientific. Talk to your medical professionals. If you don't believe me, really talk to some surgeons. If you can talk to some surgeons, they can tell you some stories about where medicine draw the line. And if you've been in those situations, whether you had a relative or whether it's been you, when they come and say, medically, we've done all we can do. Right now, it's between whoever the patient is, her or him, and their higher power. Surgeons are good people to talk to when it comes to that, because they have seen miracles happen in those operating rooms. So yes, we do have the power to download into our mind those healing energies, that healing power. We really do. I ain't trying to get mystical and metaphysical on you. It's factual. It is factual. Go on to the Googles. Check with the Googles. So this is okay. So I got a notice over there. But just know that, and don't feel like you are at someone's mercy. Hey, creative mind, how are you? So don't feel like you are at someone's mercy or that you don't have the power. Now, again, I said the responsibility for your own wellness, not for your sickness. So I'll speak on this, and I'm speaking from my personal opinion because I don't want to get muted, right? So I got to say this is for entertainment purposes only. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is for entertainment purposes. Oh, I got to talk to all three cameras. But my personal opinion on sickness, again, I said you are responsible for your own wellness, but not for your sickness. Now, the country that we're in, if anybody else is on here chiming in from somewhere else, let me know where you're chiming in from. Now, I haven't done a lot of world traveling, but I've done a little bit. I've been out of these states, and what we got going on over here in America belongs to a bigger system. The illness pays for the pharmaceuticals that pay for the pockets of the billionaires, that pay for the institutions like hospitals and other institutions, and the patient or us, hey, we get skipped over in that loop. We get skipped over in that loop for benefits, to benefit from it, but we get ran through. Gotta use that word. We get ran through when it comes to the dollars because we need your problem. I mean, we as in the conglomerate need your problem so that we can make more money. That is me. This is for entertainment purposes only, but that's been my experience when it comes to that loop. Let's talk about your medical professional here because we're about to sign off in a minute. So that, to me, that's what I'm saying. So that's the money thing. Again, I gotta say this is for entertainment purposes only. But when it comes to your medical professionals, and especially if you have insurance, if you have some form of insurance, just go meet the people. Some people have not, I have talked to people who haven't been to the doctor in 15 or 20 years. Just go and have a conversation. We have people who have not been to the doctor in so long that when they go to the emergency room, the expectation is that the ER doctor is supposed to know everything that's going on with you. Really? You don't even have a medical history nowhere. Nobody even know who you are, right? You on record. I mean, like if they went into a computer, if they went into a system, they don't have the information that they need. Establish some form of history with your medical professional. Now, this is me. Again, I gotta say, this is for entertainment purposes only, but for me, and this has been working for me. Primary care physicians. I haven't even had that many. I mean, because I keep them long until they retire, right, or pass away. But my primary care physician, that's the gatekeeper. That's the one that holds the key to where I'm really trying to get to. And this is just me. This is how I operate in the system. Whatever it is that's going on, I am going to talk to my primary care physician because that's who I've been assigned. So I'm going to talk to my primary care physician, but I'm asking for a referral to a specialist. I want the referral to the specialist because the primary care physician knows general medicine. That specialist, when you walk into that office, a lot of them can just eyeball you in general, right? And say, okay, well, yeah, this looks like this may be this, so but we're going to run some tests. That's why you want to go to the specialist, especially if you have insurance. Utilize the insurance. I don't want to go to the doctor because they're going to tell me something is wrong. So my question is, if they don't tell you that it's wrong, does it get right? You not going doesn't make it get right. So you still need to go and talk to the medical professional to find out what it is. A lot of times there are things that are going on with us that by the time we get to see somebody, it's like, dang, if you would have came in here 6 months earlier, if you would have came here 2 weeks earlier, like sometimes those are the things, okay, and choose your PCP carefully. Yes, they have to make you feel like they can. Yes, creative mind. Let's talk about that. Now, they do have 5 to 7 minutes. They got 5 to 7 minutes to be with you. Your responsibility. Go in there with all them questions. I even had a doctor before this. They said when she used to see my name the day before, like, oh God, I gotta go study. Have your questions because they are at a limit, and you do have some that stick to that, and you have some that go over. But you are right, creative mind. You want to pick that PCP carefully. If you are part of a medical group, which a lot of, especially with HMOs, so there are more doctors in that medical group. Go to somebody else. You ain't going to jail. They're not going to lock you up. Don't feel bad. If you say, you know what, this just wasn't a good fit. Or a PCP or a physician that makes you feel like you're a problem. Hello? Yeah, I got a problem. That's why I'm here. I came here because I have a problem. But if you can feel energy, you can feel people's energy. Don't feel intimidated. Don't feel, less than because you came with a problem. writing it down helps you out a whole lot. It gives you more ammunition. Yep, exactly. Yep. It gives you more ammunition for you to be able to get your problems addressed. Again, for me, whatever it is, I'm going to a specialist. I have to go to, because I have an HMO. So I have to go to my primary care physician in order to get the referral anyway. She's great. She's wonderful. We have a good relationship. You know, we kind of had a few bumps in the road in the beginning because my previous primary care physician ended up having to retire. But we're good now. I think I've been with her probably almost 10 years now. It's been a while. But, you know, just like in the very beginning, until she learned my style and I learned her style. She was younger. She was, you know, I'm not going to say fresh out of medical school, but she was closer to being out of medical school than my previous physician. My previous physician was actually my age. So, you know, and female, so we actually, you know, related on a lot of things. And my current is, you know, some years younger, but still, it was like she was going really, really by the book. Really, and I get it, because them doctors have to cover themselves. I'm gonna talk about that about herbs in a minute too. But doctors have to cover themselves. So she's covering herself. Like, nope, I told this patient this. But when she understood how I operated, I do my own research. Like, I'm not opposed to medication, but if there's something else that I feel that I can do to help a situation without getting this prescription, can we talk about that first? So she and I we're on a totally different level now, you know, when it comes to that. But in the beginning, she was like, yeah, nah, you ain't about to make me lose my license up here talking about you about to go take some red raspberry on my watch. But, you know, medical professionals, they got a job to do, right? So they have to secure their job and they have to make sure that they're taking care of you as the patient. Now, that made me think of, if you decide that you want to go with some form of herbal remedies, right? Like, I ain't one of these doctors, they prescribe me all this medication, I want to go to a herbal doctor or a naturopath. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Don't expect your medical professional to know all about that. Don't expect that from your medical professional. That's unfair. It is unfair of a patient to expect a medical professional to know about herbal remedies and herbal healing, because they know medicine. And you have to be able to decipher between the two. If you go into a medical doctor, they know medicine. And medicine is what they're going to help you with. Medicine is what they're going to prescribe you. If you go into a naturopath, you go into a holistic healer, they work with herbs, they work with essential oils. Now, in all fairness to both of them, would you want someone that specializes in one thing telling you about something that they don't know about? That ain't good either. Because, you know, you just like want your doctor to tell you about some kind of herbs and they tell you about something that don't work. That's not good. That's not good. So let people stay in their lane. And that's what I mean by you are responsible for your own wellness. Now, the sickness, when you talk about our foods, if you look at the stuff that's in our foods and you look in other countries, just like the, what's the FDC, whatever, red number 75, whatever it is. When you go to other countries, they use beets. They using beets as red. They ain't got the red FD, whatever, right? They actually using a plant to color whatever it is, you know, that's in the food. But it's so much that our FDA lets pass. What's the brand? I think it's, don't quote me, but it's a cosmetic brand. I think it's NYX. Whatever it is, it's a brand that's not a high pricey brand. And they have some of the cleanest ingredients. Because wherever America allows so many things, other countries, they exactly creative mind. But if you look at some of those products, those cosmetics, them other countries are not letting that stuff come into their food, like, at all. There's some things that they're like, what? You gonna put that on your lips? Like, that's a lipstick? And we over here charging $20 or $30 or whatever it is a tube because of that brand, of that name that's on there. You want to be mindful of that as well. Read your labels. Even if you got to be up in the store like this with your readers, read the labels of the things that you're eating. If there are things in there with 15 consonants and no vowels, or 1 or 2 vowels, yeah, that's probably something that your body is not going to recognize. If your brain don't recognize it, your body's probably not going to recognize. Yeah, you want foods that are simple with simple ingredients. When you get to blending more than 5 ingredients, and there are some things that, you know, that you may blend more than 5 ingredients, but more than 5 whole food ingredients. I mean, more than 5 ingredients, food ingredients. That's what I'm doing quotation, food ingredients. And you don't recognize them, that's when you want to start asking questions. So say, for instance, if you made a salad and you had more than 5 ingredients, that's what I mean by that. If you have more than 5 whole food ingredients in the salad, you're good. You know, you're good. You're eating something fresh. You know, you're eating something in its most natural state. That's better for you. But I'm talking about these things that are in these packages. They have to be preserved for a certain amount of time. Shelf life. Some foods got a shelf life of 10 years. I'm just saying, like 10 years, you can hold on. And I'm not talking about like dry grains. I'm just saying there are some things that we allow over here in America because the preservatives that are in them, they last a little bit longer. America is about bulking. America is about mass production. Quality, I don't know. Just don't know. I don't work there. I don't work at the FDA, but I'm just saying the quality of the food and the quality of our soil, first of all, on Earth anyway, is just a little bit depleted than what it was before. America allows so many things. Okay, and the first ingredient listed is the highest in the yes. It is the highest amount in the food. That first ingredient. So just read your labels. Be mindful. Again, we are responsible for our own wellness. I don't want you to feel as if I am bashing anybody. I'm not. I want to empower you. That is my job, to empower you to understand that you actually have the power to be responsible for your own wellness and don't end up at the mercy of the medical field or the medical professionals. And just like Creative Mind said, choose your PCP carefully. That is your primary care physician. If you feel the vibe is off, because we do have that. Everybody has some form of instinct or that sixth sense. Everybody has it. When you be like, I don't know what it is, but it ain't right. That's what I mean. If you feeling something is off, move on to the next. Cut your losses, because it will end up being worse for you in the long run, because then you become the problem patient, and then all the problems going to show up on your chart, and then it's going to be like you trying to get your record expunged because all this stuff ain't wrong with you. You're going to look like this hypochondriac. You try to get some insurance, and then you messed up because the insurance company going to be like, you too high of a risk. We ain't about to, insure you. That's what you don't want. You don't want that. So make sure you develop some form of relationship. You create some kind of health history with some medical professionals. So we're going to wrap this conversation up. I am grateful for those of you who have joined and participated in this conversation. And for those of you all who are going to watch the replay, you can still put your questions, your comments, down in the chat. Again, we discussed the useful strategies that we're going to implement when it comes to crises or tragedies that we have some form of control over. Because that plug that was pulled on the people last night and what I saw on that app was not good. It was not good at all. Don't allow yourself to get behind the 8 ball, and don't allow another person to control your destiny to that extent. Don't put all them eggs in the same basket. If you don't eat eggs, I'm just saying, I don't eat eggs either. But if you, whatever it is, whatever your marbles, your cotton balls, whatever it is, don't put them all in one place. Learn how to tap into other sources, especially if that was your only source of income, because America was shook it. America was shook it last night. And now they probably over there dancing. I got to go over there and see. I got to go over there and check on my people. But my people last night were not doing too good over there. But you don't want to allow yourself to be put in that position to whereas when tragedy or crisis strike that you could have some form of control over, you just, you crash out and you blank out. So again, thank you for joining me today in our mindful moments. Take time to take care of you conversations. They're going to occur Sundays at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. All 3 platforms, unless the clock app, because they tripping. They still didn't let me go live on here. I'm still pushing and keep saying go live later. So I guess they ain't letting people go live. But anyway, so I'll be streaming on YouTube. This is my YouTube people. Hey, what's up? Fan base. I'm my fan base people. And I got the TikTokers here in the middle. But for whatever reason, TikTok is not letting me go live. And that's okay. That is perfectly okay. I will not be crashing out. I ain't going to be crashing out over that app not letting me go live. Because I'm still going to be able to get my message out. Because I have 2 other avenues that I'm able to speak to people. If you found value in this video, please like, comment, and share it with someone else who you feel may also benefit from it. And on that note, I'll meet you same time. So is it same bat time, same bat channel. Peace, y'all.